You're on the road beyond. Welcome. I'm Todd Duplantis. Good to have you with us on the show. Doug O'Brien, my co-host, joining me for another week of, some of the best content we hope to get out there. At least you'll see in the next half hour.
I'm really looking forward to today because last week, we talked about drone sightings. We hadn't seen them, nothing, and then all of a sudden, it's like they heard us.
Yeah.
And now they're everywhere again.
Now they're all over again. But there is an explanation. Remember, President Trump had said that he would get to the bottom of it. Right. Even when he went into office, he was saying that the government has to know what these are.
Right.
But the former administration kept telling us, we have no idea what they are, but they're no threat. They're just flying around the skies. Well, Trump's press secretary last week said this.
And before I turn to questions, I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office. From President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
So there you have it. This was not the enemy. Before we were told we don't know what it is. Now we're hearing the FAA authorize every one of these damn drones to be up there and allow them to fly around.
But they said not the enemy, but they didn't say it wasn't aliens. So are the aliens filing flight plans, or
I mean, I don't know. I mean, strange things happen, but that's not much. Yeah, I mean, not much of an explanation. The only person we could bring on, we talked about this before. Derrel Sims, the alien hunter, joins us this afternoon. Derrel, always good to see you.
Delighted to be here.
So you just heard the explanation from Trump's press secretary on what's been going on over New Jersey and literally everywhere else. What's your take on that?
Well, my take is, and I must have at least had 100 people call me because of my position and being ex-CIA. They thought I would instantly know the answer to everything, which is certainly not true. But I told them, in my opinion, that if these, that in my opinion, these likely were us, and that the intelligence community was running their own program without the FAA's blessing, and that's why they didn't know anything. And then later they cleaned it up by saying, oh yeah, we knew everything. No, you didn't. You just put your rubber stamp on it after the fact. But the fact is, I think we were testing these to see how well they would work on our situations, especially on our installations, and particularly against our own tech that can disable those units. And the tech was not able to disable them, so that's pretty good information for the intelligence community to have.
Well, is that also why they did it mostly over the water, do you think? Because that's where a majority of them were seen.
Well, a lot of people don't know this, but there are Russian crawlers that hang out just right outside the 12-mile limit. Right. I assure you, they're not out there fishing. They've been there since 1967 that I know about personally.
Now, let me ask you this. Take a look at some of these close-up pictures of these drones. If the government knew they weren't the enemy, Trump's administration's come out and said they were FAA-authorized flights. Why didn't we hear that when literally there was panic across the New Jersey region? You had, governor of New Jersey, you had Congress members of New Jersey getting out there saying these are really bothering our people. Why didn't they just come out and say this to begin with?
Because it's an intelligence operation, and they're literally doing their own operation and testing. They're acting like the Chinese. Right. They're acting as if it's a Chinese invasion. So they're doing their own test on it, and they can't tell everybody what they're doing. Particularly American people are going to be the last to ever find out anything.
So it's kind of like the hackers they had when the internet first came around. They hired hackers to see where the weak points were. But it's still interesting to me that it's happening over water, not only in New Jersey, but we recently had sightings over the Gulf of Mexico, close to Pensacola. Are those close to military bases?
They are for a fact, and New Jersey and that area. Listen, Virginia, there are more military operations going on that people don't even know about.
Yeah.
In these states, I know because I've been in a number of those installations when I was in the CIA myself.
We've got some more close-up pictures of some of these drones, and kind of just bizarre-looking drones. Some of them were even thought to be built to look like aircraft.
That looks like a transformer.
Yeah, I mean,
seriously, it looks like Optimus Prime.
I'm not saying these are extraterrestrial, but there's something strange about the composition of these drones. I mean, that looks like a balloon, quite honestly, right there. And then let's take a look at another one. I believe, do we have one more? Yeah, look at this one here. I found this one quite intriguing. They're saying some of these, Derrel, were the sides of a small bus or an SUV.
That's why their intelligence, I assure you, I know a man personally that builds these for the intelligence community. These are not the kind that he builds. This is someone else. And this is an intelligence operation. This is a nice piece of equipment.
That looks straight out of Star Wars.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah. And we've also, which I thought you might find this interesting, Derrel, because I know you've kept up this with being the alien hunter. But we've seen some new interesting pictures of aliens, proposed alleged aliens on the internet. Let's take a look at a couple of those, and you can see these. Any thought to whether any of these might be any substance to them? This one looks awfully peculiar right here.
In my opinion, is 100% fake.
This one here? Okay. Can we see the next one, Nathan?
What, too good to be true?
Yeah. This one, I believe, okay, that's a winged being. Supposedly that one's out of Brazil. We're going to talk more about those in the next segment. Have you seen anything recently? I mean, there seems to be a lot more pictures being bantered around, whether or not they're legit or anything.
The majority of the ones that come to me are discernible in some way or another, are very questionable. The few that I do get that I actually think there's something possibly to it, I'll send it off to my forensic expert, and he reviews them. Takes about a week for him to go through them, and he'll send them back to me. And even then, majority of those is pretty well disproven to be an actual UFO in the air, so to speak.
Now, I hate to be the conspiracy guy here, because I'm usually not like that. But how much of this could be political theater to say, hey, look over here at all the drones while
this is going
something else is going over here that we don't pay attention to? You're laughing, so I must be onto something.
You're wiser than your years.
Thank you.
Let me show you one other picture, Derrel. This one's been floating around just over the past few days, and this is a photo taken from a satellite to Mars. Now, they're saying they haven't found proof of anything on Mars, but this next photo looks very interesting. Some are calling an archaeological site in the making.
That is a remarkable photograph, and in my opinion, which I'm not qualified to say what it is, but I can pretty much tell you that I can tell you what I think that it is. But the more important answer I can give you is that one of the top NASA scientists, who's a specialist in the field of archaeology, particularly after nuclear explosions, says that Mars, and that particular photograph is an illustration, is in fact the result of a nuclear war. That there, in fact, those are relics of a civilization that was on Mars.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, the right angles definitely make you question it, because right angles don't typically happen naturally.
And I've said on this show many times, and I maintain this as fact, we could have the Mars rover roll next to a Coca-Cola can on Mars, and they'll try to tell you it's a natural formation.
Sure, absolutely. The lighting and shadows.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just
I do have one quick question though, Derrel. Are there aliens walking among us? Because I saw a report that they claim the others, the Greys, the reptilians are here and have been here for a while. Is there any truth to that whatsoever?
There is truth to that, in the sense that they have been here and do appear from time to time. Are they in a studio there? I doubt it. They're probably not in my house, but
I'm checking.
I don't know. I can't speak for this guy.
I'm wondering about that guy with the glasses, but I'm not sure about that.
I just come out of nowhere. It's like, wait a minute.
Well, we're talking aliens. We're going to move into that direction. Stick around. Derrel Sims is our guest. He is the alien hunter. We're talking New Jersey drones. When we come back, I found there's a lot of stuff that's been going on in South America for decades.
Yes.
With aliens and UFOs.
Yep.
We're going to talk more about that when we return. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
When I grow up, I want to work in a lab to build robots.
From classroom to career, we're with you every step. Register for real-world education at hccs.edu.
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes now. Could spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. I'm going through changes, through all of the strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
Where's your emergency?
Welcome back to the Road Beyond podcast. Don't forget, you can follow us. It's easy to find us on most of the social media platforms at the Road Beyond podcast. I'm Doug O'Brien, along with Todd DePlantis. And we are really beyond today because we're talking aliens. We have Derrel Sims, an expert, and the drone sightings. First of all, Derrel, why did they die off?
Yeah,
and now all of a sudden
they're coming
back up.
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, it's these are operations done by the intelligence community, and again, they're often without the express permission or purview of the NTSB or your controlling interest of flight patterns and so on, operations for that. They don't ask permission to do this. They do it, and they want to see their reaction as well. So in my opinion, this is what's been going on. And I think President Trump's answer through his spokesperson is a perfect example. He cleaned it up. He told the truth, in my opinion, that it's us, that it's our operation. But the FAA did not, in my opinion, have a clue about this. They were clueless about it.
We have discussed before, and I know you've done research, but there seems to be in South America sightings, UFO activity, aliens being spotted, and that's been going on for decades. We've got some interesting clips we're going to play as we talk about these for the next segment. And we played one of them earlier, Derrel, a winged being in Brazil. From what's going on in Brazil? Because it seems like all the clips I have are from Brazil.
I got a lot of friends down in Brazil. I love the country. I love everything about it except one thing. Some of the biggest hoaxes that have ever come out in the UFO community are right out of Brazil.
I guess that's why we're seeing a lot of videos from them. Another one, here's something from the alien grays in Brazil as well. And you can tell us whether or not this is anything that's legit.
Not legitimate. None.
Okay.
It seems like anything that is super clear is automatically suspect.
Yeah. AI is wonderful these days. One of them, here's a shot of a UAP, and then we've got a cigar-shaped UAP. Take a look at these two, Derrel. This one was shot, didn't give exact location in Brazil, but of course it is in Brazil. You can barely see something coming. It looks like that could have been a meteor or something going to the ground. Now,
the UAPs of a cigar shape, Avi Loeb, of course, a professor at Harvard, has shown some of his work on this. And I think that he's well onto something. And I've actually seen this type of craft in myself in 1966 with probably at least a dozen other witnesses in New Mexico and right outside Holloman Air Force Base. Definitely was not a fuselage of an airplane. It stopped all the cars out there on the highway. They couldn't even start their cars until it disappeared. We've got one here. This was taken at Baringue Park, Brazil. Let's see if we can show you this picture right here. This is another UAP sighting.
That one's kind of interesting with the lights around it. Any that kind of fits the description of the drones we've been seeing recently, though.
It does, but a triangular craft, especially very high up, is consistent with the information that I have. I've looked at some film footage that's not from the intelligence community. It's by private individuals who have some remarkable equipment, and that's very similar to what they show. The only difference was they were 35,000 feet up and above.
Does it matter that these are not the typical UFOs that we all grew up with, the saucer shape?
Yeah.
Is it harder for us to understand because you see some of these that have these weird oblong, some of them are shaped like the lunar landing module that has these weird corners to it. Is that something we just need to get used to?
I think so. Many people in the UFO community are of the opinion that the triangular craft are more of a military operation and back engineered and so on. It may be. I don't know that. If I did, I wouldn't be telling everybody on TV or anywhere else. But the fact is that's a good guess, in my opinion. There are craft we have that right out of Nellis that I'm telling you that is the place where this stuff is really developed.
Let's take a look at one here. This is a Varginha incident, 1996, an alleged crash. The Brazilian military supposedly captured one being. Have you heard of this situation? And take a look at this alleged alien. Any weight to this?
I do know quite a bit about that particular event. After the event happened, I went to Brasilia, and worked with several investigators there and told them what I thought happened and how the entities why they found him in different parts of the city of Varginha, Brazil. And the reason is they let him out before the ship crashed. It had been shot by us. We have good intel that our military contacted the Brazilian militaries and told them that the craft was coming down in the Varginha area. We have good information on this. In fact, I told Jamie Foxx, who did a wonderful show on it, and I told him that I actually have proof that the Secretary of State of the United States was there the next day on ground. I have the original copy of the original documents of him being there and what we gave Brazil to get the UFO back in our possession.
Wow.
With the bodies.
I have a question. It's also popped up late last week about eggs being found. I want to say it was Iceland.
Yeah,
is that where it was in a cave somewhere in
it
the
was being
Nordic
retrieved?
Region.
Yeah, and it was released it was a military retrieval.
And they claimed that there was an alien sleeping in a pod. Is there any truth to that?
I simply don't know, but I have my suspicions on that one. And I liked the witness very well, a very credible military witness. The problem I have with that particular footage showing the egg-shaped craft or whatever it was being released on the ground is where's the pickup crew? You don't leave something like that laying around. Where are they? I mean, there's some holes in that part of the story. I just don't have, but I like the witness and the military people. They were, in my opinion, quite credible. I'm not sure about that film footage being the exact one he's talking about.
Well, also, they didn't show the alien in the pod. They showed the pod, but at least I didn't find any footage of an up-close shot of the alien.
No, I didn't see one either. And I thought it was some of the most, if you're going to shoot a retrieval of a UFO, right, that was the lamest footage I'd ever think I'd seen.
Yeah, I agree with you. There are holes in it, and I don't know, unless they're trying to make us think they're incubating these aliens up in that region. But the last question I have, or the most important question I have, are we as a society ready for aliens to be here? Or could some of this be in preparation? There's a guy by the name of Bashar. I don't know if you guys, he's very entertaining, but he claims that this is kind of a beginning, kind of an introduction.
Conditioning.
To desensitize us. Is there any possibility of that?
Well, in my opinion, we've been desensitized. This has been going on for over 70 years.
True.
If you look at crashed UFOs, the history of them, whatever, you believe them or not, Roswell was not the first event. 1938, there was one that was down and found by the Italian government. But my point is, in every country, every nuclear power or every heavyweight power around the world, and Axis powers, World War II, etc., everyone have had these UFOs, quote unquote, crash in our area. So we're all looking at so-called the similar technology. It's as if someone's laid this out for us to see who's going to do what with what first.
It's kind of like the movie Battleship. I don't know if you guys saw that, where the aliens came and they were trying to get the nuclear power and then using the satellites in Hawaii to communicate back.
Right.
That's kind of creepy.
It is.
Derrel Sims, the alien hunter. It is always great to talk with you, my friend. We appreciate you being here with us this afternoon.
It was an honor. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, Derrel. And of course, we'll have his information in our social media post after the show, where you can find him on the internet. All right, we're going to take one more break. And guess what we got in the final segment?
I'm going to guess puppies.
There you go. How about bears?
Okay.
Not friendly ones. Stay tuned. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
When I grow up, I want to work in a hospital.
From classroom to career, we're with you every step. Register for real-world education at hccs.edu.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Welcome back. I didn't know if you were going to do it.
Go ahead.
No,
I didn't know which one. Yeah, we didn't decide who was going to open.
Welcome back to the Road Beyond podcast. I'm Doug O'Brien, Todd DePlantis. Before we move on to our bare necessities, Derrel Sims, the alien hunter, did not answer my question, are we prepared for aliens? I just want to point that out.
How do you actually do that? Because I feel
know.
like we should. I feel like we should have had a party for him or something.
Well, at least we need that.
Should we have had the party?
We should have had HR come down, get us like into George R. Brown, and say, "Okay, everyone,
aliens are here.
Yeah, be prepared."
Yeah.
But it's become a tradition on the show, bare necessities and bears. I don't know why we find them so entertaining.
We usually find cool things of bears, but like friendly bears.
Yes.
I got news for you. They're bears. They're wild animals. They're not puppies. They're not dogs. They're bears. So check this out. This is a video. It looks like I'm going to go with Russia, where they actually do dance with bears.
They love bears in Russia.
Yeah, look at this. So the bear, they're trying to, like, the bear's in a circus. Then all the bear's like, the heck with this, and attacks the trainer. But look at the trainer's friend. He just kind of runs over like, oh, I'll help. Yep, I'll kick the bear and then run away.
The guy in red does not like the other guy. He is doing everything.
He's probably like, you deserve everything you get from this bear.
Remember last week with the birds?
You deserve everything you get. So, just to show you that bears, they aren't friendly. They may ring your doorbell. Don't open the door, all right? Take a look at these guys. I'm going to guess they're in Florida. I'll go with Florida, just as a guess. But look, okay, nice little bear. Yep. Bear's let me give the bear a hug. Bear's like, I'll take your neck instead.
Wow.
No, yeah. So they actually get the bear away from the guy. The guy goes off, and you can hear in the background after this is over, you can hear him going, wow, is he actually bleeding? So, yeah. So
that's definitely Florida.
Yeah, that's Florida. Now, getting back to a more friendlier bear, in fact, I'd leave this bear alone. I call this the fat bear, as in PHAT.
Okay.
Check this out. I'm thinking this bear has been hanging around the buffet just a little bit. Yeah. Is that a bear or a walrus?
That is like the one bear you could literally outrun.
You could outrun the bear.
That one, because they always say don't run, but in
that case, I'm thinking I'm gonna walk away from the bear.
Well, you remember the old bear joke, don't you? That if you and I are in the woods and a bear starts to attack us, I don't need to outrun the bear.
I just need to outrun you. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. You need to be faster than the person you're with. So I'm assuming that bear was headed to hibernation.
I hope so. That or, Weight Watchers.
Yeah.
Like somewhere healthy.
You know what we haven't done in a while is
What's that?
Just grab a bunch of crazy videos from the internet
Okay.
and take a look at them. So I think we're going to do that next week because I had this theme you and I talked about in the beginning. There was a theme involving garden stuff you do in a refrigerator.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
And then mini cooking.
Okay. It's funny you say that because I did come across some.
Yeah.
It's like mini cooking, but it's all crocheted.
Oh, well, there
and
you
it's
go.
Like
mini
stop
crochet.
Motion. It's I don't know why, but it's fascinating.
So now you already know what you have in store for next week.
Yep.
We're just going to be freewheeling it with crazy things we find on the internet. Hey, it's been interesting this week, been fun. Hopefully we'll have some more drone stories to tell you in the future. But if not, we'll see you next week. Doug, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Make sure you follow us on social media at the Road Beyond Podcast.